Hello guys, I am back from another video, and today we're talking about what if Deku had a, symbiote. So in the last video, after Izuku, defeated, all of these challenges in well, the sports festival, it's finally the final battle between Izuku and Jiro. So let's talk about what happens next. So, Izuku's basically preparing as Izuku starts going into the arena. As Izuku sees Jiro, as Jiro says, I hope you're ready, Izuku. Izuku says, yeah. So, Midnight says, 3, as everybody says, 2, as Izuku says, 1, as everybody starts charging in, as in, Izuku and, Jiro, as Ijiro starts using her, symbiote, as her face starts getting covered in her, symbiote, she starts screaming really loud, as Izuku starts getting a massive headache because of it, as Izuku starts saying, "Ugh, damn it," as Izuku decides to use this technique, where Izuku starts, jumping around, as Jiro starts using her, screaming to start, trying to disable Izuku's symbiote, but Izuku keeps dodging. As Izuku says, "Take this, Jiro." As Izuku starts creating his axe. As Izuku starts slashing at Jiro, as Jiro says, "Take this." As she basically screams at Izuku point blank range. As Izuku says, "Dang it!" As Izuku starts screaming a lot as Izuku gets knocked out. So, Jiro wins. So, yeah, so when Izuku wakes up, apparently Izuku gets second place. So, yeah. So, wait for a second, guys. So, Izuku starts going into the podium as Izuku was handed his medal. As Kirishima is third place and Jiro became first place. As Jiro says, thanks Izuku. After all, I win. Izuku says, yeah, okay. She says, let's talk about, something important later. Also, Kirishima, would you care to join us? As Kirishima says, yeah, okay. So, after that match, they started going into their dorm rooms. As Izuku saw, Jiro and Kirishima, going into his room as they say, so, can we talk already? Izuku says, oh, okay. As they say, we know that you have some sort of, creature that's like, giving you extra powers. Izuku says, I also know that you have extra powers as well. Thanks to the Clintar. As they say, how clever. As Izuku says, so how did you get them? As they say, I don't know, but we only saw them after, after we got knocked out of conscious by them when we were in the, in the karaoke bar after we sung and before we can get our, wallet and cell phone. As Izuku says, oh, okay then. As the symbiote basically comes out, Cutthroat and Aries, as Cutthroat says, why hello there. So, you're my father. Or at least my father's, how do I say it? My father's host. As Sanguinius says, hello, my dog. As she says, shut it, old man. As he says, oh, okay. So, yeah. So, they basically talk about, how Izuku actually got a symbiote. But Izuku told them, he doesn't know. The only thing that he remembered when he got this, symbiote is when he got, almost got killed by Bakugo many years ago. As he say, really? Izuku says, yeah. So, yeah. So, After that whole talk, they started going back to sleep. So the next day comes, as it's the day that is where they're going to be picking their hero name and going to their agency. So midnight arrives as she basically explains what they're going to be picking their hero names from. So Izuku is picking his hero name as Bako picks his hero name. So Bako tells everybody that his hero name is Dynamite. As they say, wow, that's actually quite a great name. As Izuku says to himself, what's a great hero name for me? As Izuku picks, wait for a second guys. So, Izuku comes up as Izuku says, my hero name is Yami. As they say, really, the Japanese word for, word for darkness or the dark. As Izuku says, yeah, it kind of makes sense, I guess. As Jiro says, yeah, that's a great name. So, yeah, so when Izuku's picking his agency, Izuku decides to pick, Night Eyes. As Izuku says, Night Eyes seems interesting, so I'll pick that. So, when he starts going to Night Eye's agency the next day, Izuku sees Night Eye and, Mirio. As Mirio says, so you must be the successor for One for All. As Izuku says, how do you know that? As he says, well, I used to be supposed to be the successor for All Might. As Izuku says, really? Huh. As he says, yeah, so what is your quirk? As Izuku says, fire manipulation and how do I say it? As he says, what do you say what? Izuku says, oh, nothing. So yeah. So they see, Night as Night explains that they're going to be going to, going to be patrolling for now. So Night after, telling them that they started going on their patrols. So it's been a while now, it's been a week now as they finally, how do we see it? It's the last day of their internship. As Izuku's basically, watching the city. Wait for a second. As Izuku sees in the, distance, a blue fire. As Izuku sees, some creatures flying around. As Izuku says, what the heck? As Izuku sees a little bit more, Izuku thinks in his mind, wait, are these those creatures that we saw in the, USJ? But they seem to be different. They have wings. As one of them starts charging in at Izuku, Izuku says, dang it! As Izuku brings out, Sanguinius, or at least some of his symbiote, as Izuku slices it apart. As Mirio says, we're being under attack by villains. Izuku says, I know that already. So, Izuku jumps down from the building. As Izuku starts charging in at some of these, Nomus. As Izuku sees the cause of all this. Izuku sees that, that guy again. The guy with the, whole, smoky face thing. And Izuku also sees a guy with, black hair and scars all around his face. Almost like Frankenstein. Wait for a second. As Izuku says, who the heck are you? As he says, my name's Dobby. So, you must be a hero then. This will be interesting. So, he brings out a blast of blue fire. As Izuku dodges it pretty easily. As Izuku says, easy. As the, the portal guy, aka Konagiri, basically creates a portal and causes him to go in front of one of the Nobus, getting ready to punch a building. Izuku says, dang it, as Izuku dodges it pretty easily, but the, how do I say it, the building gets destroyed instantly. As Izuku says, take this, you damn thing! as Izuku stabs it in the chest with with his axe hand. Izuku starts spewing out fire at Dobby, as Dobby says, "What in the?" as it burns a part of his face as well. As he says, "Dang it, now I have to get more scars." Izuku says, "Take this," as Izuku jumps and kicks him right in the nuts. As he says, "What the? My nads." Izuku says, "Take this," as Izuku kicks him right in the face. As they basically get the chance to escape because a building was collapsing as Izuku saved some of the civilians before the whole building was falling down on their heads or shit like that. So they basically escape as Izuku says, "Damn it!" So yeah. So after that whole week of that, the whole internship was finished. They started going back to class. So wait for a second, guys. When Izuku gets back from his own internship, Izuku sees Jiro and Kirishima as they started talking. So Kirishima says, "Yeah, Ares has been doing really good, especially when it has enhancing my quirk. Look," as he starts spewing out claws like Wolverine, as he says, "Look, it looks pretty cool, right?" As Jiro says, "Yeah, including mine. Look." She starts covering her hands in her symbiote being cutthroat. As her symbiote creates large organic speakers. As she says, "I can easily blast a person all the way to the moon if I wanted to. It's super cool." As Izuku says, "Yeah." So, they basically say, "So, have you heard? There's going to be a training camp soon, so we're going to be getting supplies." As Izuku says, "Oh, okay." So, while they're basically talking, Mina basically goes up to Izuku as she says, "Hey Izuku, let's go." Izuku says, "Let's go where?" As she says, apparently there's going to be a big sale on the mall. So yeah, she basically explains that they're gonna be getting all of their supplies for the whole camping trip. As wait for a second. As Melissa says, "Yeah, we should do it." So yeah, so when they started going over there, they basically get all of their random shit, like for example food, more batteries for like flashlights and shit, and also toilet paper because it's pretty essential, especially in these modern times now. Anyway, so when they get back, they basically start preparing as they basically started talking again. As in they, I mean Jiro, Izuku, and Melissa. As Melissa says, "So, Izuku, are you dating anybody by any chance?" As Izuku says, "No, why?" As Jiro says, I was wondering, Izuku, can you date me?" Izuku says, date you, but I'm not really into dating, at least not yet." As um, Melissa says, "Oh, come on, Izuku, and besides, it will be fun." Izuku says, "So, both of you want to date me?" As they say, "Yep, so, who are you who are you choosing?" Izuku says, I don't know, but I'm not really ready for a relationship." As Joe looks at Izuku, as she says, "Don't worry. Besides, even though the future won't be clear, it will be, be great. Just like our present, right now." Izuku says, "You're right." As Melissa says, "Alright, alright, alright. So, we're going to be preparing for, the sports festival, I mean, the camping trip soon. So, yeah, I'll just prepare for, tomorrow. So, yeah, So yeah, everybody starts going to sleep, including Izuku. But before he goes to sleep, Izuku says to, well, Sanguinius, so Sanguinius, did you make sure not to make more babies? As he says, yeah. um, I swear. Izuku looks down under his bed. As Izuku sees tons and tons of symbiotes. Izuku inhales. As Izuku says, no food for you for a month. As he says, sorry, boss. I couldn't hold myself. Izuku says, alright, I want you to put them all inside over there in the closet immediately. As Sanguini says, yes, sir. So, Izuku gets two large chocolate bars and put them inside of the container where all of the symbiotes are basically in, and they start chomping on it instantly. So, Izuku locks it pretty easily, and also puts it in a vault. So, yeah, so nobody's going to be getting into it, or at least the symbiotes won't try and get out easily. So, yeah. So, after that whole thing, Izuku goes to sleep. So, yeah. So, I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.